Hi, welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a move to Arsenal this January transfer window, which is only a few days away from being shut. It shuts on February the 1st. So if any more business is going to be done by Arsenal, it's certainly going to be done over the next few days, and things are going to start hotting up, or maybe not hot enough. But let's see what happens. Of course, all we've signed so far is Mohamed El Nene, who we haven't even actually seen play yet. Might get a chance to see him play this weekend in the FA Cup game against Burnley. But let's take a look at who's been linked today. Now, starting off with a guy who's been dubbed the new Anthony Martial. I just love these new tags. You know, the guy is a 17-year-old, plays for Monaco and is a striker, hence the links to Anthony Martial, who also played for Monaco and is a striker. And it makes me laugh, this one, because Anthony Martial himself hasn't even established himself yet as a, you know, top footballer as far as I'm concerned. He's an up-and-coming player, and yet still he's giving tags to other players so that this guy's being called a new Anthony Martial. L'Equipe saying that Arsenal are likely to make a move for this youngster. He's been scouted by chief scout Gilles Grimondi, and his contract finishes at the end of this season. So that means it's a player that Arsenal, if they did move for him right now, would be able to get very cheaply. He's very raw, very young, doesn't have many appearances for Monaco, just a few this season, but it's supposed to be a special talent. Arsenal looking at him a lot, and it would be typical of Arsene Wenger to go and get a player just like this. But let's keep our eyes on this one, being linked very heavily with him today. As we are being linked with Alvaro Morata. Now, I was saying last week that Juventus's chief manager, was saying that Alvaro Morata was going nowhere. 23-year-old, of course. We all know all about him. He used to play for Real Madrid. Plays for Juventus. Been very frustrated this season because he hasn't been able to get into that first team on a regular basis, because they bought that player Dybala from Palermo last year, who's been really doing well this season. And Morata has just been playing a sort of bit part. Now, a couple of clubs chasing him. Tottenham, we understand, have been very interested in him. TalkSport have reported that Arsenal have also made an approach to Juventus to find out about his availability. We were being told by the club president that the price tag would be about 49.6 million. No way is Morata worth anywhere near that amount of money. So if it is that or anywhere near that sort of money, I know, you know, Arsenal, we know Arsenal, Wenger's like, he's not going to, you know, pay that sort of money for Morata. But we do also know that Wenger's been a long time admirer of Morata, and that Arsenal have tried to sign Morata before, from when he was at Real Madrid. So be interesting to see what happens with this one. I kind of think that Morata will end up staying at Juventus, but Arsenal have made an inquiry about his availability. Another player that's propping up all of a sudden again is Alexander Lacazette. The Telegraph has been reporting that Newcastle are willing to go in and make an increased bid for him. We know that Newcastle made a bid for him already, which was turned down. They're looking to make an increased bid of 21 million, which is way under. Remember last season, or should I say in the summer, when we were talking about Lacazette, and the prices being spoken about there were 30, 35 million. And of course, he was banging in the goals week in, week out, one of the top scorers in Europe. Hasn't gone as well for him this season. Still been scoring, but not as prolific this season. He's already said that he'd like to leave Lyon in the summer. Newcastle's first bid was rejected. Arsenal apparently are monitoring the situation, we're being told, because they're still interested in Lacazette. Again, he's already come out and said it's more than likely going to be the summer. Lyon, they've just opened this brand new stadium, which looks very impressive, by the way. Would he want to go now? I suppose if he went to a team like Newcastle, he'd probably guarantee himself that he'd be starting week in, week out. But at Arsenal, I don't think there's any way he'd be starting week in, week out. And plus, Wenger does have, you know, Danny Welbeck coming back. Of course, Theo Walcott can also play in that striker position, which is where we see Wenger trying to play him on Sunday. And of course, we've got Olivier Giroud, who's been on form this season. So I don't know. Would Arsenal, if Newcastle went back in and Newcastle looked like they might get him, would Arsenal say to themselves, you know what, we need to get this fella ahead of Newcastle? And of course, he'd be much more interested in coming to Arsenal, because I'm sure Lacazette's going to want to play for a team that's going to be in the Champions League, and it's looking more than likely that Arsenal should be in the Champions League next season. So again, another one we're going to have to keep a close eye on. I again think that's not a deal that's going to happen until the summer. Mathieu Debuchy, it rumbles on and on and on and on. Today we're being told that Sunderland are the latest team that would like to get the signature of Mathieu Debuchy on loan till the end of the season. That's in one publication. In another publication, they're saying that the deal's nearly done for him to go to Aston Villa. Interestingly, I was reading today where Arsenal are looking to, if they do the Villa deal, write in a clause that gives them an option to recall him. Now, that, for me, I mean, and it's been one of the things I've been moaning about with this whole Debuchy thing, when I've been saying, listen, we know he wants to play every week. We know he wants to get into that French team. But if we let the guy go, it's a specialist right back that we're going to be missing out on. And suppose there was an injury to Bellerin. Now, if this recall clause is in the contract, that means that Arsenal will be able to bring him back. If there was an injury to, say, to Bellerin, they'd be able to recall Debuchy back to Arsenal. And if that is the case, that makes perfect sense. And that will be a good deal for Arsenal. And we're being told that Villa are willing to accept the recall. Lots of the other clubs like Leverkusen and that have said, no way would we do that. We just want the player on loan from now till the end of the season. He's going to end up going somewhere. Villa looking the most likely at the moment. Mesut Ozil. Interesting news yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw this leaked news about his contract that he signed with Arsenal. Some very interesting things in that leaked contract. One of the most interesting ones was that if it was written in by Real Madrid that if Arsenal was to sell Mesut Ozil to a direct Spanish rival, Real Madrid would have first option on buying him back. So if, say, for instance, Barcelona came in and said, we want to buy Mesut Ozil, Arsenal would have to give first refusal on Real Madrid for them to be able to buy him back, which is very, very interesting indeed. And also some clauses written into there which would say that if he was sold for 50 million euros plus, that Real Madrid would get nearly a third of the profit. Real Madrid are smart at negotiation. To be fair, so are Arsenal. I mean, the other day with the Benicofobia deal, they're still collecting money in sell-on clauses. There's 3 times he's moved on now, and Arsenal collecting money all the way down the chain. So this is a regular thing that is written into contracts. But very interesting. I mean, it was sort of being mischievously reported that Real Madrid had a buyback clause, but it's not a buyback clause. All they have is a clause that if Arsenal was going to sell him to another club in Spain, they would have first refusal on him. And finally, some real good news. Francis Coquelin, as we reported last week, he's back in training ahead of schedule. We were being told that he was going to be out until March. He's back early, and he could play in the FA Cup game against Burnley on Saturday. And I think that's fantastic news. Matthew Flamini's done well in that position, filling in, but we need Coquelin. I mean, a game like Chelsea is a sort of game where you need Francis Coquelin in there. His ability to get around the pitch and cover is second to none. I mean, Flamini in the past few weeks been playing more like an attacking midfielder than a defensive midfielder. Some of the positions you've seen him getting into, but I think if we can get Coquelin back, and also it'd be good to see what this guy Mohamed El Nene looks like. I mean, we've bought him, we haven't even played him yet. I'd love to see what he looks like as well. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see what he's like on Saturday. But Coquelin could feature in that FA Cup game, and that is great, great, great news for Arsenal. Let's get into a few of your comments. Craig Barlow said, Isco at 25 million. Jesus, sign him. If he's that cheap, he's a very talented young man. Perrin is a very good goalkeeper, but we don't need him. We don't need another defensive midfielder. Maybe in the summer, but not now. We have a good squad to win the Premier League, but I was asking that question yesterday about Isco. Craig, they're in no doubt. Let's go and get him. Alexander Albert says Isco would be great, but Wenger needs to pull the trigger. He may want to come because he will start. Excuse me, he will start. But he's definitely saying we should go and get Isco. So Zach says Wenger should stop complaining and sign someone like Costa. Absolute warrior. It was a red card, last man rule. He's off. With Giroud taken off, we saw less of the ball with 10 men. For me, we should have started with a 4-3-3-3. Ozil is not made for these type of physical games. Don't agree with you. Ozil's been up for the battle this year. And I don't want to play like Costa, to be honest. And let's have it right. Costa is a good player, don't get me wrong. He's a top striker. But Giroud has been performing way better than Diego Costa. If you speak to any Chelsea fan, they're like, it's only over the last few games that we've seen a performance from Costa. So, listen, I'm more than happy with Olivier Giroud and his performances this season. That's Transfer Daily today. Don't forget, next week on Deadline Day, we're going to be doing a special, the channel Ball Street. Make sure you get over there and subscribe. They're doing a special Transfer Deadline Day live event. It's going to be a live event. I'll give you the links for it. Hopefully tomorrow. It's going to feature lots of different fan channels. It's going to feature lots of fan podcasts and that, all discussing the transfer window. So look out for that. I'll give you more details about that. But we're here. AFTV Transfer Daily will be back live and direct tomorrow right here on Arsenal Fan TV.